Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint this night scene on the River Ouse in York, England. Took this photo and kind of doctored it up a little bit. We'll be talking about complementary color schemes, which, if you don't know what that is, also split complementary, and doing a little bit of dry brushing. And I think we're going to do this one in kind of like a impressionist style, so I'll show you how to take a photo and make it into kind of more of a impressionist style painting. I've got my husband Mark.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat as always, so you can ask those questions. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I've started out with my, let me turn on my light here, I forgot. There we go. I've started out with my canvas painted with Indian yellow, since there's so much yellow in the background of our color, of our canvas in our painting. I'm sorry, I'm already in right brain mode here. I've got a 9 by 12 inch Fredrix mixed media canvas board, but I think you could do this really any size. You could do it on square or this way, rectangular. I'm going to go over our color scheme here. What's going on?
I lost the button to go to that.
Okay.
Sorry.
We'll talk about brushes.
Yep.
So for our thicker painting style that we want to do, I'm going to be using my Aspen brushes. They're a little bit heavier duty brush, and they'll push the paint around a little bit. I'm using heavy body acrylics, so these brushes will leave brush strokes. We'll get some good texture, and they'll be able to push around the heavy body acrylics with no problem at all. If you have just softer brushes, you might have to use a softer paint you can still get kind of some texture, but it won't be quite as dramatic as what we'll have. Are we working now?
I think so.
There we go. All right. Let me zoom in here too. There we go. Burnt umber, burnt sienna, cadmium yellow light, India yellow hue. That's the background color. Also been called Indian yellow, so they just changed the name. Not sure why, but Pyrrole orange, Quinacridone Magenta, Ultramarine Blue, Phthalo blue green shade, or like a teal blue of some sort. Cerulean would work too. Unbleached Titanium, titanium white. And I'm going to go ahead and put out some glazing liquid. This is Satin glazing liquid from Golden. It's got some slow drying extender in it. Matte medium would also work. It also has extender in it. Are we back to working? Okay, nope, now I need to zoom back out. There we go. We are just all sorts of weird. They did do an update. I forgot to mention it to you, so that's probably what happened there. Okay, so just to start with, we need to figure out where our horizon line is and kind of just map out a few little planes that we have to work with here. So I kind of, when I took this photo, it reminded me so much of the Van Gogh painting that I'd seen that is called Starry Night over the Rhone, I think. And put that back up there, hon. There we go. So that one is a blue and yellow color scheme right here. You've got like all these blues here, and then really pretty much just yellow, some grays. But I decided with mine, when I took the photo, it's actually in that closer to Van Gogh's color scheme my original photo is. But I decided to kind of run it through some filters, and what I ended up liking the most was what's called a split complementary. So it's not blue and yellow, but which blue, yellow, and red would make a triad, and that's probably you know, maybe what Van Gogh used. He didn't use a lot of red, but he might have mixed some in to his colors. There are slight orangey tones, but not a lot. Go ahead and switch it back to our original. Thank you. But what we're going to do is, here's our complementary blue and orange opposite on the color wheel. And we're just going to go one to either side of that to make our split complementary, it's called. So it's close to a complementary, but it's got a little bit more of the primary colors in it. It's a little closer to these two, kind of right in between almost. So we're using kind of yellow oranges and red oranges in with the blue. And I think that'll be really pretty, hopefully. And just bring it up just a little bit notch, make it a little bit, maybe a little bit more contemporary. But we are going to do a very similar style to the Van Gogh painting, I think, because I like that style of his art, and I think it'll be fun. So I kind of contemplated taking this out right here, but I think it does kind of help lead the eye with our river. It kind of creates this little triangular wedge at the bottom, and that is actually in his photo also. So I didn't realize that, because I was thinking I might just do all of the blue down. You can show it again, hun, so they can see what I'm talking about. But it's very gray, so it's like there's actually a couple boats, and there's like a gray kind of landmass coming up at the bottom. So go ahead and go back. So I think that we'll go ahead and go back.
Oh, I thought I did, sorry.
Thanks. So I think we'll go ahead and leave this in, because I think it will kind of create an interesting, stop for that blue, all that blue here. So we're going to just take it and kind of do a slight curve up. And I think we will do this tree here. I've just got regular chalk here that I'm using. And then our horizon line is just slightly below the halfway mark is where it starts, and then it angles down this way, just slightly. It's not a lot of angle. And if we want to, we can make this water area bigger, and Van Gogh's it's up higher. Well, he did have a lot of sky too, so he didn't have as much of the trees and stuff. So maybe we're just compensating here, but you could make your water area larger if you wanted to. That wouldn't be a problem. Just make your horizon line a little higher. Then there's a kind of a landmass here, and then we've got the lights at different points here, getting smaller as they go down. And so we're seeing reflections here, 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 and here, like that. And then we've got our trees, and there's actually kind of these different masses around that are getting narrower. They're vanished. So this is our vanishing point, is back over here somewhere. This is probably a horizon line right in here, almost right down the middle, and the trees are all going this way, and this landmass is also meeting up with it. So all these points are going to our vanishing point, which is off our canvas somewhere, maybe over here somewhere. And you just have these straight lines this way to it, and it would all be along our horizon line, wherever that is. Okay, and the horizon line is generally wherever the person taking the photo is standing, the head height of them, or the camera height where they're taking the photo is going to be your horizon line generally, not necessarily where the land is meeting. Or I guess I should say eye line is going to be that line. The horizon line would be the sky and the land meeting. All right, then I think that'll be good, because then we'll have some sunset here a little bit, and then we'll have our reflections going in the water. So I think that's all we need to do, and we'll go ahead and get going here. How's it going with chat? Everybody doing good?
Yes, they are.
Good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. It always kind of throws me when we have technical issues at the beginning, so
Well,
trying to get back in the flow.
yeah.
All right. Oh, my water thing is...
So we
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sorry.
had a you had a near tragedy we discovered prior to the show.
Like that whole thing is stuck to the bottom of my water jar. Sorry. What was the near tragedy?
Your brushes.
Oh yeah, I left my brushes in my water. I cleaned them out after Thursday's show and forgot to take them out. Oh shoot! Sorry, I'm just having to put my water jar back up in there. I must have been in a hurry because I left my water jar all askew and my
Brushes in the
brushes left in the water, so I must have gotten distracted.
5 days.
Yeah, they've been in there since Thursday, so not great. They look all right though, so far. This one's kind of bent, but yeah, this one too. I don't know. We'll see. Definitely don't do that. I don't even leave them in usually while I'm painting. So, all right, let's get going here. We got time's a wasting. Let's grab a large flat just to kind of do this sky area. I actually don't think I'm going to need this big of a brush. I think I'm going to get a little bit smaller brush. Maybe I'll do the 12, right? Yeah. Doesn't need to be quite that big because it's not a ton of sky here. And I'm not going to worry about this tree. I'll put the tree in after. So let's just go ahead and pretend the tree's not there and draw and paint everything in. We'll just block our colors in. And for the sky, I want to go, the reason why I went with yellow here, that golden yellow, is just because there's so much of it and it's all in the brightest parts. And I think it'll be nice underneath. You could also choose like an orangey color. I think an orange would be nice too, and that would also work. So I'm getting my cadmium yellow light, just a little bit of it, and white. And I'm going to start with that, and I'm just going to kind of lay it on fairly thick right here, and I'm going to go over the tree tops. Whew, try to say that fast. Tree tops, and I'm going to add just a little bit of my background, the India yellow, and tiny touch of orange. Try to feather those tree tops in so that you don't have like a straight line there. We don't want that. And then as I go, I'm going to start moving towards my magenta there. So I'm going to get a little bit orange, add that. And I'm just doing this back and forth, kind of flicking motion over it, just to get that kind of blushy orange color in the sky. And then we get a little bit of the red. There's not a ton of this red color, so I don't want to go too. Remember, we're staying in with like red oranges and yellows, yellow oranges. So I'm going to stay in the orangey range there. Okay, that looks good. Now, because blue and orange are opposite on the color wheel, we don't want to go straight in with blue on top of or mix it into our orange, because that'll create gray. So kind of a brownish color. So I'm going to try to get that color out of the brush. You can get a fresh brush and just fresh brush. And I'm going to get the Phthalo blue and a little bit of the Ultramarine blue. So I have kind of just a mid-range blue, the Ultramarine being very kind of purpley blue, and the Phthalo blue being the green shade, so more greenish. But together they make kind of a really nice, just mid-tone blue. Now I'm going to use this over the yellow, hoping that it'll kind of turn it a little bit green, because it is kind of green in my picture. So I'm going to see, yes, and see, we'll be able to see if I put it on there, we'll be able to see a little bit of that teal-ish color coming through when that yellow kind of peeks through in places. So let's go ahead and put that on here. And then we'll just very lightly come over this area. It's going all the way across the top. And then right here where it's meeting that orange, what we need to do is use white. And I'm just going to grab a bunch of white, get a little bit of that orange, and a little bit of the blue. So we are mixing them together just a little bit, but white will help soften them so that you're not getting this really dark, ugly gray color happening. And just flicking back and forth over that. There we go. So now we have a kind of a soft, cloudy color. And go ahead and like pull it down and back up, back and forth. I don't have a lot of paint on my brush, you can see. So I can control how much is going down. And I can pick up a little bit more of that darker blue. This is kind of wet-ish here. I don't know. I think my palette had water on it, puddles of water on it. So this paint is a little bit soppier than I would want it for this, but we're making it work. I really kind of prefer my paint being a little bit thicker when I'm trying to blend it. Doesn't seem to want to blend when it's super wet. It's just trying to wash off the paint underneath, you know, if it's too wet. Okay, so I think that's going to be good enough. We'll just let that set and see how it's got kind of that choppy look. That's okay. Brush strokes are okay for this one. So if we wanted it super smooth, we could have stayed with this brush and gone back over it while, you know, you kind of put the paint on a little bit thicker than this even, and then just kind of smooth over it as it's drying, or you could even use a mop brush, which I'm sure you've seen artists do. Don't use mop brushes that often. I don't know. It's just not something I'm a big fan of, but I see it done a lot. So I should give it a try more. Maybe I might be missing out. I feel like it's a little bit of FOMO on the mop brush scene. Everybody seems to like them. All right.
I'm not a big fan of mops
You're not.
to begin
no.
with, so
No.
mop brushes, I
True.
don't know if I'm excited about that.
Doesn't seem that exciting. All right. Me either. I'm going to find a clean spot over here and just mix up some more of this blue, but try to get it less wet, less soppy. So get both of those colors. I think there was just a big puddle of water here from where I sprayed it originally. Right, so I'm making a little bit stronger blue color for my water. Maybe a little bit more white here. There we go. So kind of a mid-tone. If you're using a gray palette, it should be maybe a little bit lighter than the palette. And I'm looking at where I've got I think I'm going to move this over. I think I put it a little too far this way. So I think I'm going to move it over, the glow over into this area. It's actually kind of angled, if you notice. It's weird. But they did angle, so I don't really know why. Maybe it's I have no idea why they are angling. It's probably physics of some sort happening, which I'm not aware of, but they did angle, so.
They're on the plane of the water,
There you go.
which is flat. Level all the time.
And that's why the reflections are angling. Still don't quite get that.
It's your angle to them and the flatness of the water.
I see. Since I was at an angle to them. Yeah, that makes
Yes.
sense. Okay. So I'm just going to put this lighter color here, and then at the very top here, I'm going to put my white blue. Maybe even get some of this yellow from the sky. Put it there. Kind of covered over my reflection there, but it's okay. We'll have some of the darker color from the trees in the water here too, so, but I'm just kind of trying to get some color down for now. I'm going to get a Filbert here and some white. I could probably just wash this off. Let me see if I can wash it off. I'm just gonna try to use a little bit of water on my brush. This paint is still wet. Just see if I can get that yellow to show up again. There we go. There we go. Okay. Well, if you catch it while the paint is wet, you can do that. You can lift it off of areas where you don't want it to be. And that one kind of got. And you can also kind of smudge it out too. Kind of smudge those edges out a little bit. Okay, that looks all right. I think this is going to be fun. It's going to look worse before it looks better. So trust me, it's going great right now. Believe it or not, this looks amazing. We'll get it there. All right, I think for this foreground, I think I'm going to start with my Unbleached Titanium, which has burnt sienna and yellow oxide in it, so it's got kind of a warmer white already, which is close to what I want. And then I just want to warm it up even more with a little bit more of an orange. So I'm going to get my Pyrrole orange and yellow that's in the background, which again is going to kind of seep through, so I don't have to add a ton of yellow to it. It's already there. I have a hair on my palette always. Always. Obligatory hair. Ubiquitous, that's what they're, means they're everywhere.
Ubiquitous.
Yep, that's what that means. The ubiquitous hairs.
Oh, I'll trust that's what it means.
Something you see everywhere. At least I see them everywhere. All right. I shed worse than the cat. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, that's a little too peach. It's a little too pale. You can see the one in the picture is a little bit more saturated, so I'm going to go a little bit darker. There we go. And maybe a little bit more orange. Add a little bit more orangey. So, yeah, that's good. Okay. And then I think I want just a little bit of gray, so I'm going to get a little bit of blue here and along the water, just going to have it be a little bit more of a gray. It actually kind of is turning it sort of purpley because of the magenta in this, because of the reddish tones in it. It's so red. Okay, that looks nice. Yeah, I like that. Very pretty. Being very intentional about our color scheme tonight, which sometimes I just kind of paint what I see, but sometimes when you want to, change your color scheme, you have to think about how the colors are going to interact, a little bit more. And so here where I want a gray, I'm just going to kind of mix up all of my oranges and red blues together to get my gray for the shoreline over here. And I might add a little bit more blue and maybe a little bit of brown. My brown is my neutral color, but I really, honestly, I'm not going to need a lot of brown because I have all these colors that are going to clash, because they're complementary or split complementary. They're going to be so close to being in opposite to each other, they're going to create neutrals just by mixing them together. That's very purple, so I'm going to go a little bit more brown, a little bit more of the, there we go. A little bit more of the Phthalo blue. Okay, and we'll just do our river bank. Not going as high as my lights. Just keeping it right along that shoreline. In my original photo, it is almost the same color as my trees, which were, all of this was almost black. So the filter lightened it up, which is nice because sometimes your filter, you know, your photo might be, you know, oversaturated or dark, you know, so don't be afraid of, you know, once you get your photo, very rarely will, I mean, like last time we did, that, you know, sometimes I will just take a photo that's in the perfect lighting conditions and it's great. But oftentimes you're going to have to edit your photo a little bit. So it's good to know how to do that. Play with your photo apps and get some, you know, different ones. They all do all kinds of different things nowadays. And then you've got AI getting involved and you get who knows what. You can pretty much do whatever you want with your phone anymore. You know, after you take a photo, it's pretty amazing. We've come a long way since the digital camera days or the snap and shoot camera days. I mean,
When you have to bring the roll of film down to get it developed.
oh yeah, you didn't know what you had until you got it, and then you kind of.
And at 24 shots, you got 2 usable ones.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I'm using some of this darker color just on this shoreline here, just to kind of add some more of that color here, and then I added more of the phthalo blue in the burnt umber here. That's what this is. And then let's go ahead and use this color back here. So this is darker, and I'm just going to kind of fade it around my lights. Again, we're kind of going, you know, chunkier with our brush strokes. We're not having to be too precious about how we're applying the paint right now. Can just get it on there. We're going to apply several layers, so just want to get some paint down. And Van Gogh was all about expression. He used very juicy brush strokes. If you've ever seen one of his paintings in person, it's quite a sight. You can feel the energy. I think that's why he's been so celebrated, because he was able to capture that feeling on canvas. So we're just trying to kind of get a little bit of that movement and energy in our brush strokes. Just kind of holding it a little bit far back and letting the tip. I've switched to a 4 Filbert, sorry I didn't mention that, just to give myself a little bit more control. And as I get down here, there's less opening around my light. Okay. That's good. It's starting to get there, right? I'm starting to see it. Maybe a little bit. All right, so now we want to use that same color in our water. And actually I think I'm gonna do my trees before I do the water, so that I kind of know the shape that I'm going for. So, and I'm just mixing right into this big gray puddle here. That's fine, it's not gonna hurt anything. I do want to spray these blue and orange though, in case I need it later, just so they don't dry up on me. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of that, because I want some color, some of the sky color when I do my trees. So I'm going to, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I'll just go ahead and use this brush. I think it'll be fine. You could go up a size if you wanted to, like to maybe a 6 if you wanted a little bit bigger trees, but I think this will work. So, and I think I'm going to keep this brush so that I do have those brush strokes instead of using like my Deerfoot Stippler. If you wanted to do it more like realistic style, would use the Stippler and tap it on, and we did trees last week about that way. So if you want to see, you just use the same colors, use those techniques where you tap it on and smooth it out a little bit more, just like I was talking about smoothing out the sky a little bit more. But I like the sky. I think I'm probably going to leave it pretty much like that. I might add a few more brush strokes in here and there, but I think it's okay. It came out all right. So I think I'm probably going to leave it, and we'll start out just by kind of figuring out where we want to put our trees, and then we'll start kind of slowly working them in. So I'm going to use both of my blues. We don't have black tonight, so we're just going to use our colors that we do have to make our black, which is Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber make a really nice dark gray black, and then I'm mixing it with this blue from my sky. So it's going a little bit lighter. There we go. So I'm getting kind of like a light blue gray. I'm just going to let my brush dance on the canvas here and create interesting brush strokes. And this color originally that I had originally put down had a little bit more green in it, a little bit more green. So if you want that, you can add maybe a little bit more. We can get a little bit of phthalo blue and burnt sienna and have that as an option to mix some greens in here and just do a bunch of different dark. And what I'm going to do is kind of start with this color. It'll be a little bit soft, and then I'll put my darker colors on top, so I'll have a little bit of contrast with my trees. We don't need a ton because these are basically silhouettes. So, you know, the sun's gone down. We don't have a lot of light hitting this side of the trees. The light's all behind them, so they're not being lit up by anything but our lights here, pretty much, and whatever lights were in the restaurant. We were sitting on a patio. This was the view across the river. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. It's O-U-S-E. O's? Ows? I'm not sure how you say it, but that's the river that this is.
Oh,
here.
really?
That
Yes.
runs through York?
Mm-hmm. You don't believe me?
No, I believe you.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to Google it like some people Google after their partners Googled. Because they don't believe they know how to Google. Not mentioning any names.
I may have done that earlier today. Guilty. Guilty. All right, I'm adding some oranges down here where there's maybe a little bit more glow. Down low, and again, remember we're kind of doing this with our trees, so make sure that, you know, we've kind of covered up our line, but make sure you're staying in that general line. So down here, I'm going to keep these all low. They're not going to go any higher than that. Maybe get a little bit orangey and yellow. Here we go.
River Ouse.
Ouse. I think it said ose. Ouse. Which makes sense. Ouch. Like ouch. Oh, ouse. Okay. All right, let's do our tall tree here. I'm just trying to get my brush clean because I had too much of the lighter color on it and they wasn't going dark enough. So get a little bit more of that burnt umber and ultramarine blue. I think I got a little bit of phthalo blue too. Do this one tree that's right here. This kind of mid and kind of using the edge of the brush to create the brush strokes so they're not, you know, so they have a little texture.
So it translates to water. House.
All right, and this this was in York, so it's not in French.
Right, but that has the origins in Celtic.
And the Ouse means what?
Water.
Water. Okay, so water river.
River, water, or great water river.
Okay, so going with a little bit more of burnt umber, burnt sienna color here. And gonna do that around our lights here.
Definitely a guy named it. What's the name of that river?
I don't know, water?
Water.
Dude, tired. Let's
Yeah. Done.
check, like, I like it.
Can we go get some cerveza now?
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. All right, so now I'm leaving the lighter color kind of towards the sky and gonna do a little bit darker at the hearts of the trees. And you can kind of, you know, adjust this however you want. If you want to do individual trees with different colors, you can do that. I might kind of choose certain color schemes for certain trees and try to, you know, individualize these a little bit, but I think as they go down here, I might, I'm going a little bit lighter and a little bit more orange with them, but they all have a little bit of green and a little bit of the blue there, and just varying tones. So I think I might lighten up some of these, give them a little bit of highlights, but this is gonna be pretty much what we get here. So once I get kind of my idea of the trees in, and again, you can give these as much detail as you want. I think that's gonna be pretty much what I do here. I bring this one up just a little bit more, just so that it looks.
What is it? Oh, hello, it's Pebbles. How are you?
Oops, got some orange there. Didn't mean to do that. I'm bringing that one up just a little bit. These two should be kind of at least the same height. I don't want it to go smaller because then it might look like it's the perspective is off. So, hi, Pupper. You just licked my elbow. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hi. Come on out from under the table. Hi. Hi. Getting pets. All right. Yeah, I think I just went a little bit high on my trees altogether. They probably needed to be a little bit lower. Well, I can always get some of that sky color and put it back in if I want to. We'll see. I'm going to get some blue here and a little bit of my orange. And just go do another layer on my riverbank and lay some blue down over that color. Let's do some kind of suggestion of some walk, the stepping stones down here. Blend this out a little bit and then get some of the unbleached titanium. And I'm just going to kind of go side to side here and brush in some rough highlights. Okay, maybe get a little bit of the yellow. That has green. I don't want the green. Just want the yellow. Yellow, white, and a little bit of the orange. I'm probably going to need to clean my palette off because I got so much color on here. I'm just going to do some yellow orange on here too. There we go. And then I'm going to use this in my water now that I have it because This is my highlight color. And I'm going to dab it on, get a little bit of water. Dab it on around my highlights.
So I was looking up the name of this restaurant, getting ready for tonight.
Uh-huh.
And I just realized that it was a pun.
Is it the star?
Yeah, the star in the city. And they spelled INN.
Ah.
Because when we were there, our first thought, well, maybe it's the Star Inn, because I think there's a hotel there.
Right.
And then the city is a restaurant, but it's
Oh,
all one punny.
interesting.
Yeah. Again, a guy. On the river water. So, pretty sweet.
Love it. All right, so I'm just kind of dabbing around my lights here to give them glowing little bits. Using pretty good amount of paint on my brush now so that I'm getting brush strokes and pulling down on the bank there. There's a little bit of reflection and kind of underneath them too, going sort of side to side on that riverbank area. I added another one over there for some reason. It's not there. I don't know why I did that, but yeah, why not? And we'll get our, I definitely put that one at the wrong place, but it's okay. This one's got a lot of other stuff in it, so I need to put my yellow back in. So I'm gonna get just my cadmium yellow light, a little bit of white. The white will help it be opaque, and I'm just gonna find the center and dab that on. Maybe just use the edge of the brush here. Dab, and this is how Van Gogh did his too. He did his reflections, just dab, dab, dab. All down and kind of getting smaller as they got closer to you. So dabbing in the centers, give them a little bit brighter light. And of course our water's not there yet, so this is, looking a little bit weird, but we'll get it there. Promise. Okay, so right now we're very yellow. So I think I want to go a little bit more of that reddish tone in there, like that we've got down here, this pinky tone. So I definitely want to add some of that around this and in our trees and stuff. So let me go ahead and, this is a good spot to clear off because I've gotten everything all messed up. I need some fresh white. And I need to get that green away from my yellow so I can have a clean yellow. So we'll just clean that off. This technique is nice too because you don't have to worry too much about the paint drying in between because we're doing them kind of so impressionist. We can kind of let the colors sort of blend a little bit as we're painting. And they're drying pretty fast. So I feel like my air conditioning is drying out. May need to start a humidifier again in the studio because I didn't have any time for that to blend that at all before it started drying. The orangey and yellow bits.
Yeah, between having no rain.
Thanks, Mark. That's very sweet.
don't know.
I was trying to run a
You
translation.
need to turn off your volume on your phone.
I was trying to run a translation from Italian
Okay.
in the chat.
All right, I'm going to use Burnt Umber and Ultramarine Blue. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of the Phthalo Blue. I'm try to make my dark color to use in my water. All right, so that's a good starting point. Probably should use my palette knife. I'm just going to use my palette knife and scrape that up. Okay, and then let's mix up some of the sky color because I'll want that in my water. So ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, and white. I'm going to add just a little bit of this Indian Yellow Hue because that was kind of our base color right here. It was now that we've covered our yellow, this will probably look a little too blue. We want it to be slightly teal. So we're going to add just a little bit of that yellow. I'm going to add more white here. There we go. Okay. I'm not worried about mixing it all perfectly. Just get it started there. And then I think I want my orangey color. This is what I probably should have done to start with. I'll get my orange and a little bit of magenta. And then my India yellow. Oop, it had a little bit of green there, but I think it'll be all right. So I'm going to make that fiery kind of orangey red color. And then we'll add our unbleached titanium to it to get this color back or something close to it. Not quite as light, a little bit brighter to use in there. So we'll have some of that color in our lights because right now they're very yellow. Okay, so that looks good. And then I can use my cadmium yellow with what's left in here. And we'll just mix up a orange with that. Be a little bit warmer than the India yellow tone. Yeah. Okay. I think that will work. I'm going to use my brush to push it off. All right, so now I've got a few different colors to work with here. This will go pretty fast, this part. Because what we're going to do is just try to kind of build some overlapping of our colors in our water here. So I'm going to do the orangey color around my yellow. I'm just using this brush because it's clean and has this color. I'm pretty happy with how those look for now, so I'm probably going to leave those for now and just see what we get when we do this. And then let's go ahead and use some of this orange.
So I missed the opportunity while you were scraping your palette off.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a special link down in the description, right?
I do. I have a link I did participated with this last year and it went really well, and it's a really cool collaboration with a bunch of different artists, and we do a little called Art Bundles for Good. They give 25% of the proceeds to charity. All the artists donate their work for free, and if you purchase the bundle, then the artist gets paid. So if you're going to purchase, if you use my link, that would be awesome if you heard it from me. But yeah, it's really cool. I did it, like I said, I did it last year. It's really cool. Very big value on it. Like, you get a ton of lessons, and for I don't know what the price point is this year. I haven't actually looked that up. I should look it up, but right now they're doing a giveaway. So
Giveaway. Yeah, you can enter to win.
until tomorrow. So you can. And my newsletter got that too. So if you are part of my newsletter, you can find it in today's newsletter, or there's a link down in the description of this video too. All right, so I added the white to this color here and got a little bit of burnt sienna. And so I'm going to use that down here, and then I'm going to start adding in my darker blues in my water. And I'm going to go along where these trees are, which just kind of happen to be around my light sources. Try to get them kind of in the same general area. And then as they go down here, they're going to taper off, and it's just going to be mostly light. Okay, I'm going to switch brushes so I'm getting kind of fuzzy edges. I want a little bit softer edges, so I'm going to use this blue here, mid-tone blue, and I'm going to dab that on. And again, it's just going to be a matter of personal taste. You're going to, hopefully, the more you play with this, the more your own brush strokes, your own personal style is going to kind of come through. That's the fun of doing these kind of impressionist style paintings, I find, is that when I see people's paintings back later, they always are very individual, but especially these kind where you're actually like leaving your brush strokes. Something about brush strokes really like speaks to my artist's soul. I love it. I love getting to see people's brush strokes showing. So don't be afraid of that. Embrace it. Kind of just let them kind of happen. And they don't have to look like mine. Like, that's the whole point, is to let your own creative voice kind of come out in this. And it will. You just have to embrace it. Let it happen. Don't fight that. When you're seeing certain things happen that might not look like mine, that's okay. It's yours. If this is your painting, and not this one, but you get the idea if you paint along with me. If you want to use different colors, do it. Try it. You never know. The worst that could happen is you have to paint it over, and whenever I have to do a painting, it's a good day. So even if I quote unquote fail at it, it's still, I will hopefully learn something, and next time we'll know not to mix, those two colors together or whatever, whatever it is. All right, so just try to gently meld these colors by carefully overlapping. So I'm going to start with the dark. I'll do this again while I'm not talking. Right. There is like dark in between. I'm noticing the lights and the shoreline. So it doesn't start out with the light right at the water's edge too. So I want to be sure I'm putting that dark in between there. So, and wherever these trees are is where our dark is going to go for sure. So over here the trees come up a little bit and then they split off and there's some sky. So I'm going to do this whole area pretty dark close to the light and kind of cut off the bottom of the light a little bit. And then while this color is still wet, I'm going to get some of the next color over so that I can blend these two together. So I'm going to do the mid-tone, which is closer to this color, or, you know, close to both, kind of in the middle. Do that, wipe that out, and then get my lighter color. Try to get as close to that as I can. It doesn't have to be exact, but white and light blue, and then go back over, and I'm just kind of walking it back and forth so it's skipping around. I'm not actually blending those two together. If I wanted to blend them I could, but I kind of want them to instead just have these nice light brush strokes. And there is like little ripples in the water, so pay attention to the way your ripples are leaning. In mine, they're kind of gonna go, you know, along with the water line, so that maybe they'll be a little bit slanted instead of being straight onto me. Maybe they'll, you know, be kind of more straight onto this line here. That makes sense. So that it looks like the water is leaning that way. So I'm going to kind of change some of these so that they're kind of leaning away from me. Or not so straight. Okay. I like it. I think this is pretty. Yeah, I think this is, it's kind of got that feel. Feels like the vibe I was hoping for. Going with a little bit brighter blue in some places here. You know, where the water is choppier, it's gonna pick up different reflections. If it's perfectly still, it's gonna kind of mirror image the sky and the what's behind it. But if there's some movement to it, it'll pick up other things. Getting some unbleached titanium. I'm gonna try to kind of match up the color of the sky over here. I have too much blue on my brush to wipe that all out. Come on. Let's try that again. There we go.
Got a question about influence.
Mm-hmm.
I like this question.
Okay.
So they say, Robin says, George O'Keeffe had a huge influence on their life artistically.
Yeah.
Who would you say had the most influence on you?
I'd definitely say George O'Keeffe is up there for me also, as well, for sure. She's one of the ones that I first learned about when I was in college. I was studying art, and I was really drawn to her florals, obviously, and I've done several of her style. And I like that she would take an image and make it large and choose a simplified subject. So she would, you know, she didn't have a ton. I mean, she did all kinds of different things, but, you know, in the floral ones, basically, you know, she would just have the one subject, and so you couldn't look away. It was like, you know, right in your face, and made you notice things about the subject that you wouldn't notice otherwise. And so I definitely adopted that style of simplifying my subjects and trying to, I don't do a ton of super complex things, although I do more of the complex art with my patron group. But especially my early canvas work was like just a bird's nest on a huge canvas. And that was most definitely George O'Keeffe inspired. And then I really like Norman Rockefeller, although I don't do Rockwell. Sorry, not Rockefeller. Rockwell, thank you. Here's my left brain talking, or my right brain talking.
The other guy was Rich Guy.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, yeah, that was funny. I've always really liked his art. I like the blend of realism. I like the illustrative style of his art, and the blend of the realism with the more painterly, So it's like it feels painterly, but it's still realistic. So I really am drawn to that. It's really hard to merge the two, to find a way to be realistic but still have your own style and not be totally literal with your art every time. And that's what I've tried to do. I'm better at it sometimes than others, I think. I'm getting unbleached titanium here and adding it to my blue and some yellow so that I have a green, like a light-ish green. I'm going to just use that in my tree. That first bit was a little bit light, but might work. I don't know. We'll see. And I'm going to use a little bit of it in my water too, this pale green color, just so that it's not just blue. And I'm going to keep it pretty sporadic, so I don't want it to overwhelm my water, but I do want some blues, some green in here. Maybe especially down here. And then, of course, Van Gogh was the very first artist I even knew about. I did a study for my senior project on him. We could pick anybody, and he was who I studied. So that was way back in high school, and that's when I decided that I wanted to be an artist and do it in college. And even though he, his like, I don't know, I just loved his art. It spoke to me, and so yeah, he's definitely, even though I don't paint like him, like I'm not, and I love the brush strokes and stuff. So I'm trying to embrace that a little bit more. I think my first goal in doing art when I first started it was to do realistic stuff, and I wanted to get to the point where I could paint what I saw, and I feel like I've achieved that for the most part. And so now my goal is to start bending that and doing stuff like this, where I'm taking that and making it more abstracted. And that's tricky, getting realism and abstraction in one painting. And that's one of the things that the Impressionists, some of them in particular, were really good at, where you could see it from a distance and it would look almost identical to whatever it was they were painting, very representational. But then as you get closer, you see that there's just all these squishy brush strokes and, blended colors in ways that you wouldn't have expected. So, all right, so that is getting closer. Sorry, that was a long answer to a short question, but those three were probably my top three.
And no Bobby R.
What?
No Bobby R. Bob Ross.
Well, I mean, Bob Ross was the whole reason I wanted to be an artist to begin with.
He was an inspiration, not so much an influence.
Right. Yeah, I did want to paint like him in college. I mean, yeah, for sure. But, yeah, I don't know how I forgot him, but, yeah, for sure. I more aspire to be a teacher like him, not necessarily his art style. But yeah, no, I love Bobby. Old Baba Yar. All right, so let's evaluate. So now we've got kind of, you know, the bare bones. I want to see what I like and don't like about it and start tweaking things and making sure that I got my values where I want them to be, like make sure I got my water dark enough where I want it dark. I might need to move this over so there's more of the trees over here. I can tell already, you know, that that tree is kind of more right here, so I kind of brought my blue in a little too far right here. I think I got this one okay. Maybe a little bit more of the dark here again, and then I definitely want to play with my yellows in the water and just make sure that they're a little bit better. And I think I might smoke out this, just soften off and like maybe blend the two of these together so I get like a more soft line between these two, because I feel like it's a little harsh right now. So I think that's where we'll start. And then I do need to put in my tree over here and kind of figure out if I'm going to put this boat in or not. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to. I don't think it's adding much. I think I'll just kind of try to straighten this out and maybe put those pillars that are in here, because I do like those. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and kind of fix the tree line over here first. So I want that to come out more this way. Okay, that's better. Get darker in here. Again, just kind of, since I don't have my other colors on there, I'm going to grab my mid-tone colors and try to meld that in a little bit. All right, looks all right. If I was doing this more realistically, what I would do is kind of smooth it out a little bit, not leave so much of the brush strokes. So if you're wanting to do it that way, let me just show that in case you wanted a little bit more realistic. I would kind of just do my brush strokes a little bit more like zigzaggy and not so obvious. So I might do some of it that way. It doesn't hurt to have a little bit of both. It doesn't have to be all like brush stroke everywhere. And that would be a way to kind of take my style and blend it with this style, you know, kind of get a little bit of both, because my tendency is to smooth things out and blend them. So maybe smooth it out a little bit more in places and then leave the choppy brush strokes in just a few places instead of everywhere, you know. And that way I get a little bit of both. You know, more like this instead of this. I don't know. I like them both, but I think I might do a little bit of smoothing on here. It just feels a little bit forced. Like I don't want to try to be Van Gogh. I just want to kind of take what I like about his and merge it with what I'm already doing. Okay, that's better, I think. I'm going to get really dark. This needs to go a little bit darker. Okay, I'm going to get some of that blue, smooth that over. I'm just doing longer brush strokes to smooth it. And going into that. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, that's a little bit more my style, I think. I like that a little bit better. All right, getting some more of the white. Mixing that in here, so I have a little bit of the lighter color. Blend that out. Yeah, it's funny with this trip in particular, we did stuff that I never do. Like, I don't pull out my phone and take pictures of my food or stop and take pictures of, I mean, occasionally I will, but this was like we took pictures of everything. We were those people.
Yeah.
It was, but we got some great photos by doing that, so I wasn't sorry that I did, and I honestly think we're going to do our vacations that way from now on, because I did enjoy it a lot, and especially looking back on the photos, it's fun to see the videos and things that we took, and it brings us right back to what we were doing.
Yeah, I think we struck a good balance between taking pictures, but then also being present.
Yes, oh, for sure.
I know
Yeah, we were
there's-
very present.
I know there's times when I was extremely one or the other.
Right.
Like I was that way in some concerts. I'm so focused on recording it that I miss it.
Right,
And
yeah.
so try to say, okay, I can take a bunch of pictures, but now let me stop, put it away,
And actually take it in and
right, enjoy it.
Look
Yeah.
at what we're seeing. And yeah, for sure. For sure, there's a balance there. So I just added some teal. I wanted a little bit more of that phthalo blue color in there. Trying to get that shape of that tree where it sticks out right there a little bit. I like that. Okay. Same thing with this one. This one kind of has a little bit at the top there where it sticks out. Let's go ahead and kind of do that.
But I will say I would look at you kind of funny if you're sitting over there on the couch taking a picture of your dinner. Like, what is she doing? Really?
True. I won't be doing that. No, I promise. Pretty sure. Unless I wanted to paint it. I have taken pictures of, I still want to paint. One of these days I'm going to get a really good photo of a BLT sandwich. But I have yet to get the perfect BLT picture. One of these days. All right, so getting this reddish color and adding it to the teal blue. And I'm gonna use that to kind of bridge that gap into my trees. Just that mid-tone color, which is basically what we have in our mud bank here, or our I guess it wasn't mud, it was a canal. Right there. Okay, so that's better. See how softer? That's softer than this one. So let's do it to this one and see. We'll see how it just kind of keeps it from being so in your face. Glow. Yep. So now, boom, now it's softer. All right, so I'm going to get a little bit of this brighter red, though, and I want a little bit of it closer to the center here. And normally doing this, like if I was, normally doing it, what I would do is use when we just did this actually in this, I'll show you. We just did this in this painting where we painted this and we dry brushed on all of the glow. We did our lights and layered different yellows and oranges in the lights, and then we did our glow in the background and then blended it in to the back so that it was very soft and kind of glowed. This is our $15 tier painting. We're gonna be adding a pink bicycle and lots of greenery over the building. So it's a work in progress. We work on it every Thursday until it's done. So we got at least 2 more weeks to finish that one. Still time to join us if you want to. But links are down in the description if you're interested in any of that. Mark should be posting the link to Patreon here, but he's not listening to me, so there we go. Patreon.com/AngelaFineArt right there if you're interested. He's just busy typing over there. And
button still works.
I will also have the traceable for tonight's painting. I do it from the finished artwork so that it's accurate. Okay, gonna go a little bit darker blue in this corner here, just before this tree. And bring that up just a little bit more right there. Now that I've got my water done, I can kind of clean that up because that line is straight. And I'm going to use that darker blue, a little bit of the glaze, and just kind of darken it up. A little bit of the in-between of my river bank. There we go. And we can use a little bit of the lighter color, a little bit of glaze, and I'm just going to kind of do a line. It doesn't have to be perfect, so every now and then kind of stop and lift. But let's just do a thin line down for where that edge is. All right. A little bit more of like blue in my tree there. And I might go a little darker with my sky, so I might glaze in my sky here in a little bit, but we'll see. I'm going to add a little bit of this blue to my water, and I still need to clean up my reflections of the white reflections there. Let's go ahead and I'm going to get a little bit bigger brush, and I'm just going to add some of this blue in the sky. I really don't want to mess this up though, so I'm going to maybe glaze it so that it goes on slightly transparent, so it's not so overwhelming to the color here. There we go. So that glaze is just going to soften it off, make it more transparent. So I can do these brush strokes. Probably should have done this before I painted in the trees, but it's all right. I'm going to use some of this red with my white. And maybe a little bit of yellow, so it's a little bit more the color of the sky. There we go. Gonna blend those two together. And use a little bit of glaze so that it's not that glaze kind of didn't kind of went a little dark right there, so I'm trying to push that back, get a little bit more of my yellow with the white. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Kind of soft. I'm going to use a little bit of this in my water. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to use the darker blue back here. I'm getting this one that's got a little bit more of a teal leaning with the Phthalo blue. I'm just going to kind of push it into that corner and go over my tree if I need to. I might actually bring that tree down just slightly. We'll see. Might have to use too much of the white to get it to go down. Yeah, that works. I've got a color close to my sky. And if it's not exactly the same, I can just work that color back over some of the areas where that blue is just until it blends. Okay. Maybe bring this down just a little bit. There we go. Just trying to get those same colors that are in my sky. Bringing those trees down a little bit. Okay, it's a little bit closer to where I want them to be. All right. And then I brought that sky down a little farther than I needed to, and I'm gonna push back with that ultramarine blue. Don't have any burnt umbers.
What?
I don't know, you're over there laughing.
I
so.
am. Because I've been having difficulty spelling and then watch somebody try to type the same word 2 or 3 different times because spelling check.
Oh. I have been there. My spell check, because I've done so many titles for my videos, my spell check tries to capitalize weird words. So I sent a like beginner or video or anything like that I use for my titles gets capitalized acrylic every time. Every time. So I've just got all these weird posts and comments where I got capitalization in the middle of the word for no reason. It's pretty funny. Yep.
It's helping us.
Yeah. Right. And I've just gotten so lazy. I don't even change it anymore. I'm just like, oh, hell, whatever. Whatever.
I ain't got time
I
for that.
Splattered. Well, splattered. Yeah, I don't have time to change it. I just leave it. Okay, so I've made a dark green, ultramarine blue, those two, and a little bit of the yellow, India yellow. Ooh, I actually like that. See how the wet sky is blending with that? That's really nice. So, catch it fast enough and you have your sky juicy enough. And I had to have it pretty thick to cover because it was, you know, trying to cover up that opaque dark green. So I had to have a lot of white and okay. I probably just brought that back up exactly where I had it before. I do that all the time. Like, I guess that's where it's meant to be. Whatever, you know. But now I have a nice little blendy bit in there. So, okay. I'm just going to leave it because it's just going to end up being the same color again. All right, so let's go ahead and let's go ahead and put this tree in now that we have our sky exactly how we want it. I'm going to put this tree as kind of in line with this one here. So it's going to be about as tall as that. And it's going to come in from this side. And over. I don't want to cover too much of that sunset because I like that part of the sky. So it's going to go like that. You know, I don't love that, but so I think what I need to do is make it come out a little bit more this way so that it isn't just like a round like it is in the picture. It's kind of like cut rounded, but I don't love that. So I think I'm going to try to make it kind of like last week's where it sort of has some legs coming out or some arms coming out. Do that. I don't know, I still don't love that. Not a whole lot I can do at this point, except for make it bigger. I think that's the problem, because I tried to make it bigger.
Well, I think right now it has kind of a Christmassy tree shape.
Gonna fix this. I'm not gonna try to take it off the sky because it's just gonna take my yellow off. Right, so let's go ahead and do. Well, part of the problem is that these boats aren't there. So now it just looks like there's nothing to anchor it. The boats kind of help lead the eye back in here, and because there's no boats. So I think what I'm going to do is do some small plants right here, like as if there's plants along the...
Well, you're still going to do the posts, right?
I am going to do the posts, but I'm just going to do like as if there's some... Instead
bushes.
of doing boats there, I'm going to do bushes. Because it needed something to transition between those two. So now it's better. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's better. And I might even, you could do it up here if you wanted to. I don't know. But yeah, that looks nice. That just looks like it's like a little park area right there coming off the side, which I've seen stuff like that before, so it's not that out of the ordinary. The weird thing is you don't see this trunk. The trunk is off the canvas, and you want your eyes like, where's the trunk? So, you know, you could move it over a little bit so that you have a tree trunk there if it's really bothering you. But
a tree can be without a trunk.
Okay, so I still haven't done this purpley glow around these ones, so I still need to do that. Which was the orange and the blue, green, I think. Yeah. That's pretty close. So whatever color's in your trees, that's what you'll use with your, whatever color is your orange color for your glow. So it doesn't have to be the same as mine. Just whatever you ended up using in your trees. If you used green, then use green with it. If you used blue, use blue. Use brown, whatever, you know. You get the idea. Okay, so very good. That now they're all kind of looking a little bit better and a little bit more subdued. A little bit more blendy. I feel like I probably could go a little bit darker with my trees. I think I kind of went a little on the light side, so I think I might go back in with some really dark, just burnt umber and ultramarine and maybe a little phthalo. And just find some pockets maybe in between here where there's dark, and just really have some dark areas. Yeah, it's better. Just like maybe right in here where, yeah, okay, see how that anchored it? And this is so dark here, and it was just too light. Okay. It's just a back and forth. Figure it out. None of this is set, you know. That's the fun thing about art. You can kind of figure out what you want to do. Doesn't have to be exactly. Let me go ahead and add a little glow on here. So let me get the burnt sienna and some white. Mix it with my green here. Maybe a little bit of this red, which is kind of that glow color. I see some red in my picture, so it kind of okay, that's good enough. Maybe a little bit down here too. That looks nice. Let's go ahead and get some posts going. Get some burnt sienna. Right. Looks good. There is some kind of cross pieces. I'm just going to kind of hint to them. I'm not going to do a lot. And then I need to kind of ground them. So I'm just going to take a very light dry brush of these colors and just try to come up under so that it looks like they're sitting on something. And I had kind of, I think that was a pretty good mixture there. It kind of ended up with a highlight, which was nice. So I'm going to come back in with a little bit, maybe a little bit of blue actually. Blue highlight, yeah, that's good. Just add that so that it kind of melds it with the rest of the scene. Warm light. Okay. I'm kind of softening them off so they're not so in your face. I don't want them to be the first thing we look at. But I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and go back to our water, and I'm going to get a smaller brush now. Well, yeah, I think I need a smaller brush. I'm going to get a smaller Filbert. Here, this is the 2, so I had the 4, so now I've gone down 1. You could also use a round brush if you wanted to. This is where I'm going to use my pre-mixed colors that have been sitting here this whole time. So first thing, I'm going to just kind of tighten up my highlights if I need them. I think they're good. They're probably a little bit big. Are they too big? They're kind of big, aren't they? I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Mark's like, I want to leave. I want to finish before 9.
No, I mean, it's given that impressionist feeling.
Okay.
I mean, I don't. If you're going for realism, yes, they're too big. For an impressionistic style, no, they're not.
Okay. Thank you, honey.
But that's my professional, highly educated art opinion.
Art opinion.
I've got a badge here somewhere. Hold on.
Are you part of the art police all along?
Secret
No,
Service. 007.
Using the orange around the outside edges. Yeah, I don't love that. And part of the problem is it's getting kind of muddy. Get a little bit more of the pink magenta. I don't need it everywhere, but just in a few little spots I want some magenta tones coming out. Maybe do a little bit more zigzaggy. I'm kind of doing them in a line, and I'm seeing my pictures. They're kind of flowing a little bit more, so get a little bit more white. Wipe my brush out. Get some of the cadmium yellow light and some white. This is my brightest tone. I still had some of that pink in my brush, so it made it a little bit peachy. That's all right. See how it brightens it up when you do that light white though? You have the darker colors around it, and you add that bright pop of white right in the middle. Really makes it glow. Just dabbing here and there. They look like little worms in the water, don't they? They're not doing it. Okay. They're like little white worms. Little, I don't know. This is why this kind of stuff bothers me, because when I get in the middle of it, I second guess myself. Like I'm like, this isn't right. I think part of the problem is I have no blue in the middle, so I need to put some blue to break it up. Go back to the original. I just want to see how he did his thing, because I think there was blue in between. Yeah, and especially at the bottom, it started to really break up toward the bottom. But you can see like little lines of blue through the yellow. So okay, so I'm gonna do that. Okay, you can go back. It's fine, and his is a lot thinner than mine are too. So toward the bottom, they break up, and you have a lot more blue. All right, so let's do that, which makes sense.
It's kind of the ripples of the water.
Yeah, well, in the end of the line, you know, you're gonna start to have that merging of the two. So it makes sense that you would have more of the water in those areas. It was really watery right there, so that's why it's looking weird. And every now and then up here, I'm gonna just have one that kind of goes across. Now we're talking. See, now we're getting it. Also observing nature, that's kind of what is happening in our picture, so makes sense, you know. Like especially right here at the bottom, it's a little choppy. In our picture too, they're not all going to the shore. Some of them are shorter than others, so. Now, see, so much better. That was what was missing, was that blue interrupting the yellow. Okay, I'm liking that a lot better. Lot. Okay, I'm gonna get the lighter blue. Gonna put some of that in. Yep. So So finding those dark areas. A lot of times when you have a dark ripple, there's a light shadow above it, or light highlight above it. So can do that. That's helping a ton. Okay.
So
Don't
is
give up on it.
so is it like the light is the peak of the water ripple and the
Right.
dark is the
Yeah.
shadowy
Mhm.
lower part? Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Okay, much better. Yeah, and if I wanted to, I could probably bring these down a little bit with my tree color. Like, I like that one. I don't know. I do like them, so they'll be more out there than the pictures were. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of that yellow. Now that I've got my blue in, I'm going to kind of go in between it. My yellow. Yep, better. Definitely better. Okay. Adding some more yellow orangey color in some places. I like it. And just letting some of that highlight orangey color float out from those a little bit in some places. This is what I would do like if I was painting the moon or something, you know, like same concept. Or like on the ocean, you know, where you'd have the moon brightest and then you kind of taper it down towards yourself. Okay. Kind of afraid to do much more here. You can add, like if you wanted to, you could also do like Van Gogh did and do the night sky a little bit darker. If you wanted to do a night sky, you could also add stars up in the sky like he did in his. Mine was a little bit darker in the sky, and I think I will maybe, now that that's dry, I can add like a glaze of a bit darker blue to the sky. Don't want to go super dark, but I'm going to use the Ultramarine Blue and Phthalo Blue. This is glaze, so it is not going on opaquely. I think I just wiped off my paint there that wasn't dry in the corner though. Oops, right there. Just get a little bit of white with this color then. Fill it in that way instead. There we go. Okay. All right, I think I'll leave it. I was trying to match it up to the same intensity of the blue in the water, and you can mess with that in yours if you want. get the blues to match up a little bit more. But I think I'm going to call that good. That's definitely different. Definitely. This is more on the style of this one that I did a few weeks ago. Let me know in the comment if you like this kind of looser style. So this one and this one I definitely think are kind of a theme. Very, more loosely painted. And then this one from last week was more realistic style. The tree the red tree, I did try to kind of keep it loose, and the flowers are pretty loose, but trees in the background are much more, the stippled style, more realistically done. And then these ones with the juicier, thicker brush strokes have that more kind of painterly aspect. And I think this one is kind of in this style. So let me know in the comments which one you prefer. If you prefer the kind of more, ultra realism type, or if you're liking the, impressionist style every now and then.
People are liking it.
They do? Okay,
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Great. Well, I hope to see you guys try it and paint along with me. I love seeing your versions of the paintings we do on Tuesday nights. Really fun. I've got links down in the description for Facebook where you can share with me in our Facebook group. We've got a great group of people in there, and the number one rule to the Facebook group is be nice. So you can't, no mean comments. If you're scared of sharing your art, that's the perfect place to do it, because people get kicked out if they're not nice. So there you go.
And I just posted the link in chat to the giveaway.
Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Definitely try that. And
that's
good
just
luck.
happening here in October, November 2024.
Right. Just until tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
And I have the link to buy the, if you're interested in the, I think the tickets go on sale, or what is the name of it?
You can buy the course.
You can buy the course. Thank you. Access to the course. The art bundles for good. I could not come up with the name of it. There, my head was blank. Art bundles for good goes on sale Thursday. So if you joined it last year and we're looking forward to it again, please use my link if you don't mind. That helps me get paid, because if you use other links or just go there directly, I don't get paid for my contribution. So it's nice to get included if you're coming from my suggestions. So appreciate that. And we'll be like I said, the giveaway. I think they're doing 3 or 4 giveaways, and those will be announced. You just enter your email. So in the link down below. All right, I'm just kind of doing a little bit of touch up on the very centers of some of these, just doing a little bit brighter yellow right down the middle, just to kind of make them glow a little bit. Just a few of them. Maybe, figure out. And then you can also go back in if you want to and add just pure white, just a little tiny dot of pure white to really make it bright. So.
And of course, down below the description, Angela said there's links to social media. There's also links to different places where you can buy supplies.
Yes.
And also the list of all the materials used tonight.
Right. Yes.
Check it out.
Yes.
Holiday season's coming up. Just saying.
And again, the traceables are available for this. I'll be working on it. I usually work on it either late the day of or early the next day. Usually get posted by midday the following day.
On Patreon.
On Patreon, yep. And my website. So if you want to go to my website, thankfulart.com, you can see all of my previous videos. It's got everything, all of the Patreon stuff and the, YouTube free videos, and there's a little crown in the corner of the premium ones that are paid ones, so you can easily tell what's what. And but there's literally hundreds of free videos and all kinds of resources. So if you're a patron, you can sign in to your Patreon and download things directly from the website, watch videos directly on the website. It's really nice. I just noticed there's a few little like random little dots that are kind of peeking through there, so I just kind of add those, and yeah, I think that's good. I'm gonna stop there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna sign it, and hope you have a great weekend. We're gonna be celebrating Halloween on Thursday. That'll be fun. We hopefully won't get rained out. We get so many trick-or-treaters at our yard. We literally have to buy, there's probably $200 worth of, I don't know, easily, like
Yeah.
candy
Yeah.
that we do every year. The one year that we didn't, our granddaughter's birthday is Halloween, and so we were there obviously that year and missed out on the trick-or-treating, and we celebrated with her this weekend, so that was fun. She's 2.
Pretty hard to believe.
I know. So amazing. She's a cutie.
They all are.
Yes, all of them. All of her grandbabies. And we get to see our other granddaughter for her birthday last month. They're only a month apart, so I finally got my girls. I've got 3 boys. Not that I don't love my boys, not saying that. They both like art. It's a Gigi's dream.
Gigi's dream.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week. We're going to be starting on Christmas. Yay. Cannot wait. I started on a fabric, and I think we're going to maybe start there. We'll do a, I don't have it on my phone. We'll do maybe a floral Christmas, something just to get it kicked off. So, what?
Sign up for the newsletter so you can get alerted of when all the
Yes.
painting tutorials will be coming out and what they will be.
Yeah.
The schedules.
Yeah, we'll send out our schedule first on our newsletter and then post it on our socials. So, yeah, be sure to sign up for that. We don't spam you. We just send it out when we have something new to say, usually once, sometimes twice a week, but very rarely more than once a week. So, all right, that's it. Thanks, guys, so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.